Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of Two in the Cooler. Here we go. Right up top, we've got a big announcement. You might have already heard. This Saturday, August 21st at 8 p.m., we are going live on Twitch. Matt and I, along with Ben and Jake from Schemin' and Dreamin', are going live on Twitch for a SummerSlam 2021 watch party. That's SummerSlam is in fucking wrestling. Never watched wrestling in my life. I think Jake maybe has seen some. The rest of us are not familiar with wrestling in the slightest. It's going to be fucking hilarious. I guess John Cena's back. It's going to be unbelievable. I'm so goddamn excited. So that's 8 p.m. this Saturday on Twitch. The Twitch handle is snackspot_SE. The word snack, the word spot, underscore, letter S, letter E. Snackspot_SE on Twitch. We'll be live. We'll see you guys there. It's going to be a riot. We got a lot of cool stuff that's going to happen that night. It's going to be so cool. Oh my God, it's going to be fun. Okay. I also got to mention, if you don't for some reason, you have to follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Two in the Cooler and on TikTok. I forgot we're on TikTok now. So follow us on TikTok. That's at Two in the Cooler as well. And subscribe to the YouTube page. We've got highlights on there, full episodes. Podcasting, it's an audio medium. I like to watch my podcasts, honestly. I like it a lot. And obviously to do that, you got to go on YouTube. Subscribe to the page. It's the best way to absorb the podcast, I think. So subscribe to the YouTube. We really appreciate you guys for doing that. And of course, before we get into the episode, have to mention Instacart. Instacart, it's the best way to get your groceries, hands down. Not just groceries either. Some of your favorite products from some of your favorite local stores. Why are you going to the grocery store? It's a terrible place. It's the worst place to be. The people in the grocery store are... It's just an upsetting spot. I don't like it at all. Some people find grocery stores calming, I've heard. What is wrong with you? It's literally like you're in a monkey cage. Nobody's looking at each other. It's a labyrinth of products, of consumerism, man. It's a labyrinth of consumerism. Forget all about that and just start using Instacart. They'll get some of your favorite products delivered right to your door in as little as 1 hour. And the best part is right now, Two in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $10 or more. All you have to do is spend $10. They'll deliver it completely free in 1 hour. Hit the link in the show description and get yourself that deal. Start using Instacart today. Also have to mention, of course, merch. Teespring.com/store/2 in the cooler. Get yourself something nice while the summer is still lasting, something that's going to make you look good and feel good. We've got logo merch on there. We've got hashtag Matt Can't Read. Matt Can't Read, hashtag pizza tipping. You can hashtag that whatever you want. Anything could be a hashtag. We've also got the summer line, PTP, Protect the Prostitutes. Protect those toots, folks, only for a limited time. That line's going away pretty soon. We've got tank tops, sweatshirts, t-shirts, all super comfortable stuff. Really quality stuff. I want to stress that because I hate when you order something that you're really excited about because maybe it's got a logo from a show you like or a character or something that you're really into or something that you want to support, and it comes and it's that really shitty brand of t-shirt that everybody uses to like print their fucking shit, you know what I mean? We all know the brand. I'm not going to say it, but it's uncomfortable and you wear it once and then it shrinks. That's not going to happen with us. Teespring.com/store/2 in the cooler. Get yourself something nice today, and thank you guys for supporting the show. Speaking of, this is an episode that I have been so excited for the longest time. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you once again for listening. Here we go. Rolling.
And we're back. Episode, we gotta be in the 70s now, right?
This is 72, actually.
72.
Funny enough.
Oh, wow.
Say that. Yep, we've been doing it. We've been working on
the grind.
Yeah.
Kind of. Schondra, I can't believe you're here.
I'm happy to be here, man. I see you guys on Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
You know,
cool.
That's the reaction we're going for.
I have to say, I always enjoy our guests, but Andrew always gets really excited for different guests to come on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. But I was really excited when he sent me a few weeks back when he said, oh, like this who's coming on, like here, check out her blog, like sent me on Instagram, and I was going through it. I even your personal account's linked there too, so I was like, I saw you're in Chicago, so I was looking at some stuff, like different things that you have going on Instagram, and I think that's where you have to start, right, and talk about the blog and everything like that. I know Andrew will have some questions teed up.
A few.
Yeah, it's really cool, and we have a lot of different local musicians that have been on the show. Shout out to all them. But it seems like that's kind of your goal, is to try to put a lot of them on the map, which is
Yeah. I mean, SneakVibing is my baby. Basically, SneakVibing is my music blog, basically covering Buffalo-based artists, musicians, music, with a main focus on hip-hop and R&B. And I've always been a hip-hop fanatic. And when I discovered that Buffalo has a thriving hip-hop music community, I just became obsessed and wanted to learn more. And so I kind of revamped. I actually had SneakVibing since I've been in college. So I've had it for like 5-6 years. But I kind of pivoted in 2018 time and really started to focus on the Buffalo music scene. So that's kind of how that started, like general overview.
Was there like what first kind of made you realize the scene here in Buffalo?
I would have to say it was actually a photographer, Ryan Kell. I hope I'm saying your name right. Shout out to him. I wrote about him for Queen City. Shout out to Queen City. They gave me a lot of confidence. They're one of the first publications that, well, not one of the first, but a super important publication to me that I got to write for. They're a woman-ran webzine. But I basically covered Ryan Kell, a photographer, who was putting on really cool photographer events. And I went to one of them. I saw dancers, rappers, artists there, downtown Buffalo. It was at the, what's like the hotel/apartment with the coffee shop downtown?
Do you know what, Matthew?
I'm
it's
really
like on the
bad
tip of
with
my
geography.
Same. But I went to one of his shows and I just saw the thriving community there, and I was just like, man, this is amazing. So I remember that being a super big moment where I was just like, whoa. And it just happened gradually. I really can't remember that one moment, but I would say Ryan Kell's event. I think he moved to New York City now. He's doing big things, but he was putting on like photography events for like every other month for like a year or two, and that really like ignited my flame for like looking out for Buffalo rappers and musicians and stuff.
That's almost an understatement for what you do. The way that you support people is unbelievable, which kind of brings me to this point. 100%. You're not aware of what you're doing, Schondra? It's
because I just love to do it.
Yeah.
I just love to do it.
And you can tell that it's genuine. That really, I think, comes through. That kind of, God, that just makes so much sense, because I've been thinking about how to say this to you all week, kind of. But, like, it's weird to see somebody who is a legend, like, before people are calling them a legend. Have people started calling you a legend yet?
Yo, first of all, thank you. I don't, you know, I hear people say, there was one rapper that I highly respect, and he said, "You are Buffalo hip hop." I remember he said that one time, and I was just like, whoa, wow. I don't even consider myself like someone that I can't rap or anything like that. I just really have an affinity for hip hop music, and like the fact that I was able to connect here. I think, and to go a little deeper too, I hated Buffalo for a long time. Let me preface it with that. I hated Buffalo. I went to Sweet Home High School. I grew up in the suburbs, so I kind of had like this weird identity crisis thing growing up for a long time. Then I went to Buff State. Then I had like this whole culture shock thing for a phase. And then I think when I started going to Buff State, I realized, wow, there's people like me that do all different type of things. So that opened my mind. And then it took some adjustment. But the thing I'm proud of myself about when I was going through that adjustment is that, like, I kept writing. Like, I remember there was this friend, and he was just like, do internships. So I was interning at the Public newspaper. I don't know if you guys know that newspaper. I don't know if they're around still, but Shout out to Corey Perla. He would just let me write about local artists and stuff. And it just started to, I didn't even, now looking back, it's like I was primed to kind of like do this a little bit because the things I were doing were always revolved around entertainment, music, and culture. Like everything I was doing. And then I wrote for WNY Muslims for a little bit and interned there. But I kind of got off the topic. But all of that basically is a culmination of what I'm doing now. But thank you for the legend comment.
It's not a comment, it's a statement.
I appreciate it. I definitely feel like so many great things are happening, and I'm excited to see where I'm going to go, but I'm really focused on really developing myself more. Like, I see what I'm doing, and I see that's great, but to be honest, I feel like I can even do better if I become even more disciplined. So I'm excited to see that right now people are catching on. So I know once I really get the resources to do what I want to do, it's going to be great. But I appreciate that.
And that,
it's true. I think, like I said, it's weird because I think wherever you go, like at the end of the day, that's what people are going to start saying about you. Is like, oh, Schondra, she's a legend. She's a legend in Buffalo music. That's what you are becoming. That's what you are, I think, already. But it is so... It's just so fun following your blog and like everything like that. It's really cool seeing what you do and seeing you posting all this different stuff. One of these things that you've started doing, SneakVibing Summer, right?
Yeah.
What's it? So these are like videos that you do with different artists and stuff. Are they freestyling?
Yeah. Okay. They're some freestyle, some come with writtens, but you know, there's a whole debate about freestyle. But yeah, they just come with rhymes, and they rhyme a cappella. And and the thing is that I get excited about music, so I love when I don't know if it's Complex or XXL does the freshman class every year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch that. I get geeked about it, and I know people like hate it and always criticizing, but I love the fact that, you know, people are watching and like determining who's going to have longevity or not, and like picking out these people that show promise or these artists that show promise. And I'm like, man, wouldn't that be cool to do in Buffalo? So I shout out to Brett Mike, a.k.a. Chess Over Checkers on Instagram. He's probably going to be mad that because he likes to stay low-key. But he worked with me, and I reached out to a couple people, and we basically filmed that like over 3 months and then dropped it for the summer and dropped an episode every Friday. So that was really fun to do. It was really fun to connect, and I think the crazy part is that there were so many artists, rappers in my DMs like, yo, I want to be on this. Like, can I be So it lets me know that other people are like invested in it and they're watching. So I love that. I just love the fact that people are engaging. And somebody was telling me the other day, like, you're so excited about music, you make other people excited about music. And I love that because I want people to be excited about like the talent we have in our own backyard. Like, this is a direct connection. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's a true skill that you have, is getting people to engage. That's incredibly valuable, more than ever. And that is something that you do really, really well. I wonder why that. I guess it's because you seem so accessible. Like, people want to interact with you. You know what I mean? You present yourself in a way that like makes it's kind of inviting. Like, people like the content that you're putting out and they want to interact with what you're doing. I think also because there's such a focus on obviously what's happening in Buffalo. Buffalo is such a big part of it, and people want to feel pride about where they're from and stuff like that.
That's literally why I started, because as I said, I hated Buffalo for such a long time. So when I realized that there were these amazing artists in Buffalo, I'm like, yo, I wish I had this when I was younger to connect to. So it's like now I'm making, and I think that's what everybody in their art, you make what like you lacked when you were younger. Like, you go for what you lacked or whatever. So that it's really like a pleasure to like do what I do, because I love that. I was just telling someone I love making cool, fun videos or little clips or whatever to highlight this artist or this artist, because it just shows. And I think one thing that stands out with SneakVibing, if I do say so myself, is that I really want to focus on the diversity of Buffalo. So everyone, like, and show like all the different textures and sounds and vibes we have. So I would say that's one thing that I pride myself with SneakVibing on. But it's so much fun for me.
I also think that going back to what Andrew said about how you almost have the skill of engagement, getting people to engage. And I think it comes from kind of how just sitting here knowing you for 10 minutes, you know what I mean? How kind of friendly and inviting you are when you talk about this stuff, but also how self-aware you are. Like, not to take us back, but when you made that comment about how you really like what you're doing, but you could be doing even better if you were just a little more disciplined. That's something that not a lot of people realize, and it goes to show that you do care about what you're doing, and it is a passion of yours because you love music and you've came to love the city. And I think that's something that a lot of people in Buffalo as a whole, whether it be music, sports, anything, right, any type of entertainment, love the city of Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's a very passionate group of people for their own individual city.
And did you dislike it up until the point when you were going to those photography parties and stuff and realizing that there was a scene for artists and culture here?
Yeah, like I really did not like Buffalo. Like, I thought once I go to college, I'm going to go to New York City and live a great life and be an artist and be a writer or whatever else I want to do. So I think Buff State definitely, shout out to Buff State. It was a weird phase, but I'm so glad I went through it. Buff State really opened my eyes to the amazing artistry. It opened my eyes to a lot of things, but the amazing artistry in Buffalo, and the community here. And everybody's so different, but they all like know each other and connect with each other, collaborate. So that got me excited because I felt like I never kind of found my tribe. So I always kind of felt like I had friends, but it was always kind of like bouncing from different groups. I never really fit into one group. And that's because I like to be around all different type of people. So yeah.
So you were really kind of out there on your own for a long time.
Yeah, I'm the oldest of 5, so I feel like that kind of plays a part in it, that I'm used to being a little bit more independent. So, yeah. And I'm proud of myself too that I always stuck to just being myself, because there was, like I said, if I want to be truly honest, like growing up, I went to a private Christian school in Williamsville. Then I went to a charter school in the inner city. Then I went to a high school at Sweet Home. And all of that kind of like messed with my identity, like stereotypes and things like that. And just like being a Black woman in predominantly white spaces, like a lot of that played a part. So I was really trying to, if I'm being honest, a lot of that played a part in like how I'm, I guess, more self-aware, as you were saying. So with that, and then figuring out like, oh, there's people like me that do this and do that and do that. And then finding out that there's people like me that share the same interests as me and they're just being themselves, that got me excited. So I think that was something that really pushes me even now, is just being myself and being excited about what I'm passionate about. Yeah.
It shows. So it sounds like, did you fall in love with writing first or music?
So funny, because like they kind of go hand in hand a little bit, but then they don't. So I would say like I've always loved music. I think writing really was the vehicle for me to share my opinions, and I felt like that like validated or legitimized my opinions of what I was saying. I noticed that, especially I would say like high school, I noticed that, and I loved, there's this meme, I wish I could remember it, but it was like, if you looked up to, you were definitely a depressed kid if you like looked up to your ELA teacher or whatever. Your ELA teacher was like your second parent or something. I was definitely one of those kids. I was obsessed with like all of my ELA, and I took what do they call it when it's like a college course ELA? What do they call it?
College comp?
No, AP.
No.
Oh,
AP.
Yeah,
AP English. I was always in AP English classes. So like I was obsessed with my English teachers. And so, but I realized writing, and at that time I was reading a lot, too. So I realized that writing, reading, all of that, like, it just legitimizes and validates like people's opinions and voices. Like if I was to come out and say something, I feel like people wouldn't listen to me as much as they would, because they would be able to like digest the information on their own time if they're reading it. Like they can take their time to read it or try to understand it. Where if you're just talking to someone, they might not listen. So I realized writing really was a way to like a vehicle to like share my opinions and perspectives, because I think I've always had strong opinions. Yeah. And then later down the road with music, I mean, I just always loved music, but I went through a lot of phases of really discovering music. And then, like, even looking back, because I started writing for the record at Buff State, like, immediately. And I'm like, I look back at that and I'm like, yo, like, I could see how all this set up to what I'm doing now, which is crazy. But I would write about culture. I would write about music. I would write about artists at Buff State that are from Buffalo. Like, I look back at it now and I'm like, wow, I was doing the same thing back then. But yeah, those two things coming together really is my passion. I love it. And I love telling people stories. I love doing that. So that's fun too.
I'm glad, like, do you mean just telling people stories in general? Or do you mean telling, like, because it sounds like you, with your blog, it doesn't sound like, but there is, you tell the stories of so many other people. It's a phenomenal resource what you've created on getting information about local things. And man, you're so right about for like younger people, like kids and stuff, because a lot of kids do feel the same way that you did. I felt that way when I was a kid, kind of like a very lonely kid. Yeah. It's just good to know that there are other people out there. That is, I mean,
that part.
That's beyond valuable. That's maybe the most important thing there is. And we're lucky that we live in a time where it's so easy to see that there are other people to find them, to interact with them, even if they're across the world. Yeah, we can find them. Whereas before, I don't even know where we'd be. We'd just be living on top of hills and like.
What was it? What was it? When you would write to a friend like in
pen pals.
Pen pal, yeah. I remember doing that in like 3rd grade or something.
The pen pal trait, missed me with the.
I don't
think
I ever.
Some people like I distinctly remember like being on TikTok and seeing like somebody connect like with their pen pal or like, and for like such a long time they stayed in touch with each other.
That would be. I can definitely imagine that. That would be really cool. I remember Flat Stanley. That's all I remember from school. Do you know what we're talking about?
I remember Flat Stanley.
You had to send your Flat Stanley somewhere.
We got to put Flat Stanley in a who would win at some point.
Oh yeah.
Flat Stanley. Yeah, I remember Flat Stanley. I sent my Flat Stanley to our Uncle Jack, I believe.
Yeah, that was the place to go.
Where'd you send your Flat Stanley?
I sent my Flat Stanley to Uncle Jack too, probably.
Now I'm just.
As our uncle.
I mean,
great
I'm
uncle
unoriginal apparently.
That's the way it goes, Matthew. You've been following me since you came out.
That's just not true.
Obviously we got a lot more to talk about, but what's this? Is it called
BuffaCold?
No, not the hashtag. Oh. But let's talk about that while we're at the hashtag BuffaCold.
Yeah, it was just a way for people to connect when they see that, to know this is something that's Buffalo centric. So and I noticed there were a couple people using it before I used it. So I don't want anybody to be like, oh, you weren't the originator. There were like literally a couple people use it. But I really wanted to take that as a way to like define the hip-hop community here in Buffalo. And that it's a Buffalo-centric thing. So when you see the hashtag Buffalo, know that whatever I'm posting, or BuffaCold, whatever I'm posting with the hashtag BuffaCold, especially in my stories, it's happening in Buffalo. So if there's an artist dropping a project, you'll know it's BuffaCold. It's in Buffalo. So that was my way of doing that, because as my blog has become very Buffalo-centric, but the goal at first was just have a section. It's kind of taken over SneakVibing. I definitely want to get back into, and that's why I say discipline, because I really want to have the balance where I'm covering still mainly Buffalo artists, but definitely sharing my commentary on artists on the national scene, because that's what I was doing before 2018. So from like 2014 to 2018, I was just covering, like, if you really go back, you'll see like articles about Nicki Minaj and Kehlani and Dua Lipa, and just sharing my opinion and perspective, album reviews, all different type of stuff.
What do you think is the biggest change in your writing since you started covering mainly Buffalo?
Ooh, that's a good question. With BuffaCold, I will say, with doing like the articles about local artists, I feel like I'm way more detailed in how I highlight them, because I have a personal connection to them. So I feel like I'm responsible for telling their story and telling it correctly and appropriately, and I think that's a good thing, because now if I ever get larger and I'm connected with national artists or whatever, and I'm writing something, I have to understand that this has a direct effect on them. You know what I mean? So I think that was actually a good thing that happened, because it made me more aware. When you're writing about a national artist, it's like you're not going to get any flack for it because they're big, you know, whatever. But when you're writing about an artist that you know that you can reach out and touch, you connect, you have their number in your phone, like there's a different responsibility there. So I'm just more mindful on the people that I highlight, and more mindful to make sure everything that I'm saying, or if I share an opinion, is something that's well thought out. I would say that.
Do you think that there has to be, I imagine, a level of authenticity that comes with being so close to someone that you're covering, because you can get more in depth with them?
Yeah.
And I think that is what people really want right now. Like, across the media landscape, I think they want kind of less like People magazine, like seeing stars on these pedestals and stuff or whatever, be that distance between them. They want to get to know who they're a fan of as close as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you're bringing to people locally, which is huge, because speaking for myself personally, like seeing all these talented people that you highlight on your blog and knowing that they're like in the same area code, that's just really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think in, I guess, hip-hop specifically, location is so important to people?
Location is super important, and that's an amazing question, because like I really realized, like, I've been binge watching Complex Sneaker Shopping. Do you guys have you ever seen that with Joey LaPuma? I've been binge watching that show, and it's crazy how like where you are determines so much about you. Because everybody has a different culture depending on region. For example, where that's probably the reason I named it BuffaCold, because it gets cold here. So obviously the way we dress is determined by the weather, like a lot of things. So and the way things happen, the way events happen, everything revolves around regionally where we are. So it's the culture that forms from where you are, number one. And then number two, it's a sense of community. You know what I mean? Knowing that someone that's super talented, and it gives you a push. It lets you know that these amazing people come from where you are. So don't be ashamed of where you're from. And that was my thing, is that I was so ashamed to be from. And you have to understand too, to kind of give a backstory. My dad is from the Bronx. My mother is from Mount Vernon, New Rochelle area. So they come from New York City, basically, which is full of rich culture, and if I'm being super honest, like rich black culture and stuff. So growing up in the suburbs, and I see my dad scratching, and my dad is like, he's super integral to the hip-hop community in New York, because he came up when like African Bambaataa was relevant. Like he saw Grandmaster Flash scratch. Like he used to, him and his brothers, because he's the oldest of 7, they were called the DTC crew, I think. They would go in different boroughs, and my dad would be scratching. So he literally is part of like hip hop, that birth of hip hop. And so him telling me stories and stuff and being so excited, and then, you know, I'm in Amherst or West Seneca. It's like, okay, two different worlds. So when I looked at New York City, I looked at it as like Atlantis, like it was this amazing world. So yeah, but again, growing up and then going to college and seeing all these talented people, different backgrounds, different cultures, different races, all coming together and working together, that got me excited. And then knowing that they were doing amazing things outside of Buffalo, but they're from Buffalo, you know, they were nurtured by Buffalo, just gave me a sense of pride. And I think that's what, at the end of the day, I think that's the main thing I'm trying to do at BuffaCold, is really give people a sense of pride. We have amazing people that come from here.
That makes so much sense. It's what you've been saying this whole time. Yeah. Because here I am. I don't know anything about music in general. Mm. It's crazy that your dad saw Grandmaster Flash, though. That much I know is wild. But from my perspective, I see, you know, Drake or whatever talking about how he's from the 6, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, area codes are the best thing ever. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that makes complete sense to me now. Yeah. That's wild.
Area codes are the best thing ever.
That's what it's. Yeah. That's what it seems like.
I'm not disagreeing.
716, all that. So, this other thing that I just saw you're a part of is this. It's an arts and culture festival.
Yes. Shout out to Lindsay Taylor. He's a socialite, connects a lot of people together, connects the business world to the art world. I believe his actual profession is like real estate, if I'm correct. But shout out to Lindsay Taylor. He's like just a super connector, like a plug connector. He runs Buffalo Music and Arts Festival. It's actually this year is their 5th anniversary. But basically, he wanted to put on a festival to highlight Buffalo's talent, Buffalo's hip-hop talent. And not just hip-hop talent. I mean, he has great bands like Mom Said No is really popular. I don't know if you know them. A lot of different bands, groups, hip-hop artists, all graffiti artists. Like, it's just arts and culture all coming together. And he basically wanted it to become something. And I think it is on its way to, like, 10 years down the line becoming, like, a regional huge festival that people out of town come to visit. For example, I think the first one they had, I think Griselda performed, or one of the members of Griselda performed, and look at them now. So that's something that, like, it can be like, they performed here, you know. Anyway, I say that to say that they're great. He gave me an opportunity to write for them because they have their blog. So I've written a couple things about artists that they've highlighted. And this year I'm really excited. I reached out to him, but we've always stayed in connection. And I'm happy to be involved with what he's doing, basically getting a bunch of small businesses, platforms together in Buffalo to really put on this amazing festival. And it's going to be at the Grand Central Terminal next week, Sunday. And it's going to be huge. I'm really excited about it. Super excited.
Yeah, I was looking at it a little bit. It seems like it's going to be really cool. But I think you're absolutely right. I think that, we've learned a lot doing this podcast over however long we've been doing it. But one thing that feels very true is that, folks won't be able to ignore this area much longer.
Yeah. It's crazy that you say that because I feel like my feelings going to watch this and I could be like, ooh. Anyway, my dad's brother came into town from New York City a couple days ago, or a day and a half ago, and we actually went to my dad's house last night, my sister and I, to hang out with him, just chat with him. And he was kind of he was kind of a little bit slightly like downplaying Buffalo a little bit, and then I was kind of going in detail like, no, these artists are coming here like to connect here to get the next artist. Like we see what Griselda has done already, which they're from Buffalo and they're doing amazing things. And then people are already starting to, connect with them. You have Black Soprano Family, you have Drumworks, which is affiliates of Griselda, and you have amazing lyricists like Jay Skis and Love the Genius, and Armani Caesar, all these just amazing people, and they're all people that are under that umbrella. So people are watching, you know, and Griselda has so much credibility because they're just straight dope lyricists. They're kind of bringing that classic boom bap style back. So with that credibility, us being like situated so close to New York City, which is the birthplace of hip hop, I mean, we're very undeniable, and I want to make that clear too. And that's what I'm trying to do with SneakVibing, like become a platform that you can't deny how great Buffalo is and all the amazing talent. You're gonna find something you like here, basically.
100%.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's the coolest thing. It feels, you know, it's so weird. Because it does kind of feel like it's our time here, you know what I mean? This is like the second biggest city in New York State. People don't realize that.
Yeah,
I guess whatever. But I didn't realize that until like a couple months ago. Like, the pot is being stirred, man. Things are going down here.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool. And you're a big part of that.
And I'm so excited. I'm excited to just be like listed and even just be a little part of what's going on. I'm so excited. And I'm just happy I'm happy for all the amazing artists, and I'm happy. It's more of me being a music fanatic and knowing that I get to connect with these artists before they become big. Like I get to like really see those amazing moments where they're growing, they're trying to adjust. So that's exciting for me, just being a music fan too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're giving them a huge platform for them to stand on and be seen and grow. Mm. And again, that's the most invaluable thing you can give people. And like, what else are we doing here? You know what I mean? what's going on? Like, let's do that. Like, there's so many great people, and we need to see them. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's not like back in the day where there's only so much space for different people to shine, right?
Yeah,
there's enough room for everybody to have an audience, because the pie now is global. It's a global sized pie. We can all get a piece. Write that down. That's going on a shirt or something.
It should go on a t-shirt.
But yeah, it's going to be undeniable. Like we were talking about last week, like you have, I think YouTube is a huge part of it, right? Like there are some people on YouTube that have like hundreds of millions of views or followers, whatever. I don't know who the fuck they are. Man, like nobody knows who these people are, but they have some super dedicated fans.
Yeah.
There's room for everybody now.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome.
And I think it goes back. I just wanted to say back to what Andrew was saying and you were saying when you talk about how it's going to continue to grow, and it's already so big, and there's just going to be more and more opportunity as people start to realize that. And Andrew said it, but I think it needs to be said again, is that as that continues to happen, and it will, and when it hits that stage, finally, that kind of you're pushing it towards that direction, right? That is something that you will then be remembered for, right? That'll be your mark on the scene. You know, you say, you say you love music and you love to write, but you're not necessarily a musician yourself, stuff like that. Well, it doesn't matter because there's creative opportunity out there, and you're helping people that do that grow so much. And at the end of the day, that is something that you will be remembered for. And I think that's the coolest way to look at it. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's true. Weird way to say it. Almost sounded like a eulogy or something.
No, but I mean, but think about it. So you have the blog, right? You have the blog, and you called it at the beginning of the show. You called it your baby, and and as it continues to grow and grow and grow, and more people see how popular and how great the Buffalo music scene is, that is where your name will come up, right? You will be a part of helping that grow, and people will know you for that, is what I didn't mean.
And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of knowing that, because I already hear like the thing that gets me super excited is when I hear an artist say or DM me and they're like, oh, I didn't even know that artist came from Buffalo. Like, they're artists themselves. And typically artists in Buffalo, especially hip-hop artists, are kind of socialites themselves. Like, they naturally connect with a lot of people. But when you hear them say, oh, I didn't even know that artist existed, and then they're collaborating or featured on someone's song, and it's like, man, if I didn't have SneakVibing, maybe they would have never even connected with each other. So that gets me excited. It's like it's like it's a little bit of marketing, a little bit. And I think I enjoy that too. So it's cool seeing like people connect because of this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like networking. I would, marketing makes it sound all a little like professional.
Yeah, but networking, there's nothing professional about that word.
No, it is, but it's that's what it is. You know what I mean? It's and it's something that I didn't even realize everything that was going on around us until we started the show, and now it's given us an opportunity to meet really cool people like yourself who are doing things that otherwise we might not even have known about until after we have. You know what I mean?
For sure. Because if we didn't have the podcast, we wouldn't have connected with the Ivy League guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ivy League. I saw snippets of the interview with them.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys rule. Yeah. Real quick plug for Ivy League. The new video that they are going to be putting out, I got a sneak preview. No big deal. It is so fucking good. It's going to blow people away. It's awesome.
All of them together?
It's just Nate, Will, and Mikey. But I don't know if Mikey's going by Salo now or what his deal is.
Is that what I saw some pictures of?
Yeah. They've got those like suits on.
Yeah, the retro looking pictures. Yeah, it looks really cool.
And our pal Connor Minkowitz like directed and stuff. It's gonna blow people away. That video's so awesome. But if we hadn't connected with them, we wouldn't have seen them on your page. We would have completely missed it. And I cannot say this enough, Schondra. I'm a huge fan of you. It's so awesome to have you like sitting across the table here. Speaking about the blog. So when you do something like the SneakVibing summer videos, who's helping you with this? Like, what kind of team do you have behind you here?
You know what's funny? Well, I will say for the SneakVibing summer videos, and that's the cool thing is that I really got to like network and connect with people in 2018, which I'm so thankful for. That when 2019 hit, it just like SneakVibing just started taking off crazy, and then 2020 was even crazier, and now even this year is crazier. It just gets better and better every year. But it was really just me, my idea, and then shout out to Brett again. He reached out to me, and we just started connecting and like brainstorming randomly, and I told him like what my ideas were, and he was like, man, I would love to do this for you. And so we worked something out, and it was really just me and him, but what I wanted to do was not only highlight artists, but highlight the local businesses that are supporting the hip-hop community specifically. So if you notice, like, before I dropped the videos, I would have a little picture of, like, either the owner or their space, just to kind of give context, like, this is a space that we're filming in. If you're wondering where it's at, this is the address, this is what they do, this is how they support the hip-hop community that you're a part of. Just to kind of highlight them. So I wanted it to be a way, again, to extend that pride for Buffalo, and knowing that these people directly that have businesses that have, a little bit more power, this is how you can connect with them, or this is how you can support them. But yeah, it was really just connecting with businesses that I have come across, like Gio, everybody calls him Gio, but everybody knows Gio. Super nice guy. I remember going to his store because they would have rap ciphers in his store. Like, before I was really even pushing SneakVibing, I would go to the rap ciphers. And he has a clothing store, like he has a business, but he let these inner city kids come because they just need a place to like show their talent or show what they do, and have rap ciphers or have like mini rap shows, and it was just so dope. So he was like the number one person that came to mind. Like, him to me is like a super supporter of the hip-hop community. But we have a lot of different businesses. We had Little Africa, which is kind of like an underground space where a lot of inner city kids go to perform and just like get their performing chops up. So it was just we highlighted a handful. Bridge Studios, shout out to Beats Anonymous. Shout out to I just lost his name, but Beats Anonymous. Shout out to him. He supports the community. A lot of artists record at his space. So it was just really just highlighting that. But team wise, it's really just me. Shout out to Mark and Felicia. We just got contributing writers, so it's not just me writing anymore. So I'll have them to really support and help me out, and it's not just my opinion anymore. So that's good to kind of diversify that, and it gives me a little breathing
right.
room,
I bet
so I'm
that's
not writing everything.
Yeah, you just brought them on, right? Like very recently.
Yeah, I just brought them on, but I've been kind of connecting with both of them. But yeah, I just brought them on, and it just everything seemed right. And other than SneakVibing, I write for the Challenger News, so like I have a whole another kind of like obligation on the side, and that has helped me network with a lot of people too. So it's just crazy. Shout out to Queen City again. I haven't written for them recently, but write for them. They have connections. So it's just like everything that I have done in the past and connecting with people really has helped me now trying to get things done.
What has it been like, though, even in this short time, bringing these two folks on to your baby, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is it difficult to delegate things to them? Like, what are some issues that you've had with it, or are they just super easy?
They're great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great. There's nothing else I can ask for from them. They share their opinions. They do what they do. And the thing I love about them is that Felicia, she's in the mental health field. So she kind of she loves music, but she looks at music from a mental health standpoint. So she brings a whole nother perspective. Mark, he's like just a super culture kid. He loves pop culture, loves video games, loves music and hip hop. So he brings a different perspective, and he's a guy, obviously. So he'll just naturally bring a different perspective. So I love that. But they're great. We're actually having a meeting tomorrow, so shout out to you guys. But they're great, man. Like it's been a short time, but I'm really excited to have them on. They're just great people. I love their perspectives. We've chatted a lot, and I'm excited. I'm really excited to have them on. And it makes me woo-saw a little bit too, because it's like, okay, I don't have to, I still do a lot of stuff, but it's like I can delegate these things. And I want them to kind of discover Buffalo for themselves too, cuz they know, there are people in Buffalo, but they can kind of branch out. So they're covering people. I think Mark is covering someone he knows, but Felicia is covering a new artist that I showed her, and the artist did a project where she really was talking internally about her experience, and I thought this would be great for Felicia to cover because she's in the mental health field. I think she's going to school to be like a mental health specialist. So yeah, so I thought that would be great for her. But I'm excited. Overall, I'm excited to have them on. I really haven't had any struggles yet. I mean, it's still kind of early, but my main thing is really just getting like finances and resources in order so I can bring them on, making SneakVibing a business, so that I can pay people that I treasure to do amazing things. So that's really like the hump. It's just more of like logistic stuff right now.
Do you feel kind of, what's the word? Maybe responsible in some way, bringing people onto your business now?
Oh yeah, I feel very responsible, and that's why I keep going back to the discipline thing. Is that like, I'm like, okay, so. Because I'm only accountable to myself, and obviously everybody knows that could be a little slippery slope sometimes. But when you're accountable with other people and you have deadlines and stuff, you have to, or you're saying like you're going to do this and you don't do it, people see that. So you want to be someone that people can rely on and you can be accountable. So I realized like, organizing my day, schedule. I used to never like have a schedule. I'll just be like, okay, I know I'm going to do this today. Now I need a schedule because every day there's 2-3 things I have to do, and mainly involving SneakVibing. So yeah, I definitely feel responsible. Yeah.
Right, because now you got people on, but I wonder, it's only a matter of time before you're able to do everything that you want to do, I imagine, because you're growing at a pretty good rate, I bet.
It's insane. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes I'll go on my Instagram and I'm like, 200 notifications, like what? So, or the DMs just get crazy. So it's like really, like the first thing in the day is like going over social media and really engaging with everybody, connecting, sending DMs, sending requests, whatever. So I realized, like, yeah, you really, and that's another thing, I have responsibility to that.
Yeah.
Because as soon as, it's funny, someone actually, and they tagged me in it. There was a HipHop show and I wasn't there, and someone tagged me in it and was like, SneakVibing isn't here? And I'm like, dang, y'all clocking me already? So it's like people expect me to be at places, to be doing things, whatever. If I'm not there, it's like weird, like, oh.
Right.
So I just realized, and that's another thing, when my uncle was here last night, that was something he was saying, like, people have this expectation of you and because this is your job, but they think that you do this 24/7. So I just started realizing that he did drop some gems too, but yeah, I'm starting to realize that, like, yeah, this is a full-time responsibility.
Yeah, seriously.
thing.
I didn't want to get like too vulnerable or anything, but do you ever get worried when you have, 100 or whatever DMs from different artists that want to be on your platform and stuff? Are you worried that maybe people are just going to want to take so much from you? Or are you just so focused on building people up that that's not really on your radar?
Yeah, I've already kind of been feeling like people will DM me, like so many people will DM me like, can I get a write up? Can I be in your SneakVibing series? Can I, whatever? And I'm just like, I'll get back to you. I'm kind of working on these things right now. I'll get back to you. But I know that's just going to get bigger and bigger. Like, so I think there in the back of my mind, it's a little repressed right now, but in the back of my mind, it's like, man, you're going to really have to figure this out. And I'm sure by that time I'll have a team. I'll have someone kind of delegating everything, going through my DMs and stuff. But I'm really focused on building people up. And I have like this aggressive, it sounds weird, but like this aggressive, like focusing on the positive. Because I feel like I'm naturally, just growing up, I'm naturally like a negative and really introverted person. It's really music that has brought me out of my shell. But I'm really focusing on building people up. I don't want to be in any of the music drama or like this person doesn't like this person. I like totally stay out of that. I'm really focused on highlighting these great talents. If there's any other issues going on, I understand. I'll take it into consideration, but I really want to just push great artists and great talent.
I think that's a huge way of how people, I guess I can only speak for myself, see your brand already.
Yeah.
Whatever things are going on, SneakVibing is its own entity. It's kind of overlooking all of this stuff in a way. It's separate. It's just there. You know what I mean? I don't want to use the word necessarily. It's like above. I don't want that to be misconstrued, but like I don't mean like metaphorically, but I mean like, height-wise, it really is kind of above all that stuff. And I mean, there's nothing ever good comes from jumping into the scuffle when like unnecessarily, you know what I mean?
Depends on the situation.
Well, unnecessarily, yeah, but
but I agree with Andrew, and I think the whole positivity thing is huge to it too. It's something that I try to do. I've often been referred to as a negative individual.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah. I would you say that I try to be happier?
Well, I would say the difference is I've never seen you be negative about yourself. I know you push yourself with hockey and everything, but I use the term chest thumper all the time for like people, I'm the best. That's Matthew. Matthew's a real chest thumper. You're just playing toothpaste the other day. It's this crazy fucking game. We cannot get into the
God at it.
See what I mean?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's false confidence. I don't know, but it's there. It comes out, and I don't control it. It has nothing to do, and it kind of ties back into what we were talking about, because it has really nothing to do with the way, and people, I guess, don't know this. I've never really tried to explain it like this. I'll grab that in a second. But it has nothing to do really with the way that I view myself. I'm just a hyper competitive person.
I was just about to say,
I've never done something and been like, oh, it's okay if I am not good at this, right? I don't like to, this. I don't like to lose. I don't like to do any of that stuff. So it comes down, but it goes back to, when you try to be positive and you put this goal of building people up, and like Andrew said, that is exactly what I saw, not only from when I first looked at your blog and I'm going through stuff on Instagram, but just sitting here talking to you. You have a very positive mindset about the whole thing, right? You want to see this scene grow. You want to see people do better. And in turn, yeah, there's a competitive drive in you that wants, your blog, and you want to do better yourself, but you want to do that through growing the people around you, which is a very selfless way of growing your brand. And I think that's why it's so awesome. And that's probably why a lot of people reach out to you and say, hey, like, can I try to do this? And I think it's good that you allow yourself to consider, like, hey, I have to make sure, who I'm letting through the gates here, because you don't ever want people to use you. I guess that's not a really good term, but that's what I'm going to call it for now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, your brand isn't so much about you, it's about the community. So you have that look of, I want to build these people up. I want it to grow, because the more that this community grows, the more opportunity I'll have to grow my brand and bring more people on and do all these different things. And that's how I see it, at least. And I think that's a really cool way of looking at it, and a very positive way of looking at it, too.
Do you agree with that? Do you feel some level of competitiveness in what you do?
I will say, it's funny, and I've never looked at myself as, like, competitive, but I will say now, like, as SneakVibing is growing, I think I'm definitely getting a bit of, like, a competitive edge with me, like, just making sure that I'm doing the best I can with highlighting Buffalo and, like, really connecting with people and networking with people. So I will say that. There was something else I wanted to say, too, about what you said. Oh, so one thing I was, like, very focused on SneakVibing about was, like, early on when I had SneakVibing, there was, like, this group chat of other, like, hip-hop music platforms in different areas. And, like, they wanted me to join their group chat, whatever. And I basically go in their group chat, and it was just basically like and share this, like and share this, like and share this. And I hated that. I just wanted everything to be organic. Like, in my DMs, I always get, like, 10, 15 DMs. Oh, grow your brand, pay us to whatever. I'm sure you guys get it too. Yep. And I'm just like, delete. I want everything to be organic. I want it to just work out that way. And another thing about SneakVibing, I think that's important, is that obviously I'm a woman running this platform, which is funny because a lot of rappers will be like, thank you, bro, or thank you, whatever, not realizing it's me or whatever. And sometimes I let it pass. Sometimes I'm like, I'm a girl. Yeah. But whatever. Anyway, one thing that I was, like, very focused on, another reason why I've just always shared my opinion about hip-hop music, is that obviously, and I love watching radio shows, Hot 97, 105, like Ebro in the Morning, Big Boy in LA, all of that stuff. I love Apple Music with Zane Lowe, Nadeska, occasionally DJ Academics and Joe Budden, occasionally. I just love watching these platforms, but the thing I notice is that women are never commentating about it. It's mostly men, and if there is a woman, she's usually, like, mediating. She's not really, like, leading the conversation. So that was another thing that I really wanted to focus on. And I noticed with platforms on Instagram that are ran by guys, it's typically like all your friends or whatever are exclusive. Like, you just share your friend stuff. You know what I mean? Where I just wanted to have a platform, or I really just wanted to find a platform that highlights everything, but it seemed like platforms, and this is like, the main one I'm talking about is DJ Academics. I don't know if you know him, but he's, like, on the national scene. A lot of his stuff is, like, he caters towards a certain kind of demographic. He's not really, I feel like he doesn't have a full view. This might bite me in the butt, like, 3 years from now if I'm on that level. But, yeah, so I just really wanted this platform to be more fair, and because I understand that there's so many groups that don't get the shine they do, I really want to focus on being inclusive and also being diverse. So, for example, and I got really good engagement and interaction for June. I was highlighting, like, LGBT identifying artists, and so many people were in my DMs, so many people loved it, were commenting, and I'm like, see, because people don't see that. Like, they want to see that. So that's just an example, but I try to do a lot of that. I try to be as diverse and inclusive with SneakVibing as possible, and I really want people to connect and find a group or a tribe that they can connect with musically. Yeah.
That's fucking amazing. Based on everything like you've told us before, it's cool talking to you because it's like talking to somebody that's just made for what they do, like doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and is so fucking good at it. God damn it, Schondra. Oh my god.
Well, I do think that we should get into the Hooligan of the Week.
Yes.
So that we can eventually wrap up. So the Hooligan of the Week this week, sometimes they just get weirder or crazier. But I really like this one.
Yeah.
We have Donkey from Shrek versus Kanye West. And this might be a battle for the ages.
Two music icons.
I was going to say as far as crazy goes. Not that, yeah.
See.
Definitely both music icons.
Yeah.
I'm all alone.
Can we consider like Eddie Murphy, like himself, or is it just him?
It's got to be
Donkey.
It's Donkey singing, not Eddie Murphy's My Girl Wants to Party All the Time. You guys know that song?
No.
Oh, it's terrible. It's
incredible. Didn't he do that with Rick James too?
Yes. Rick James produced
shout
that
out Buffalo
song.
again.
That's right. Eddie Murphy did that song, and then he did a song with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he did. I can't
remember that one either, but that song is classic. And then I think he also did one on one of his. I think this was supposed to be a comedy song, but it was What in the Butt.
Really?
Yeah.
He made that song, or he copied it from someone.
This album from like the late '80s had that song on it.
Wow.
And it was by Eddie Murphy.
I definitely know that song, but I didn't know it was Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I remember from like a YouTube thing or whatever. But enough about what in the butt. We got to talk about a donkey fighting a grown man.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Matthew, that's why Kanye hasn't dropped his album yet, because he's so busy just fighting a bunch of different donkeys.
Yeah.
Like it's possible that he could. Like, if anybody's going to fight a donkey, it might be this guy.
Is he still posted up in Mercedes?
No, I think he moved out because he did the show or whatever.
Okay.
Like the kind of
release party.
I don't. Yeah. That wasn't a release party, but which one of these guys? It comes down to which one of these guys is going to be able to out-talk the other one.
That's exactly what.
Well, this is how I see the first 40 minutes of this fight going is Donkey kind of running around in circles, like running his mouth, saying whatever Donkey does, and Kanye just kind of sitting there getting continuously more frustrated, trying to tell Donkey that he is the best of all time and that nobody will ever beat him. And so that's how it starts, because Donkey will be jumping and running around like an Energizer bunny that he is, and Kanye will hate it because Kanye is Kanye, and he knows in his own mind, as you say, I do mine, that he is the best of all time.
That's actually an interesting point, because my first thought was that it's going to be tough to get inside Kanye's head because he's already so much in his own head, and his thoughts, the way that guy thinks, it's like things are just zooming around in there. But if you go at his ego, that's how you
shut him right down.
And Donkey, whether it's through ignorance or just like pure fun, Donkey will. You know what? We've seen that Donkey doesn't necessarily realize when people are being serious with him, and he doesn't really care. Yeah. So the more Kanye would yell at him, I think the more he'd be like, I think the more he would play into the joke, because maybe that's his defense mechanism.
Yeah, I think it is. That's how I see it. That's what I mean when I say he will continuously frustrate Kanye to start this fight. that is how it'll get to the point of violence.
I just imagine Kanye just throwing a Yeezy at him.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of. Is like
those shoes don't weigh a lot though, do they? Those are pretty light.
Some of there's like some bigger, some chunky ones.
Yeah.
There's some chunky
Not
ones.
the slippers. Never,
Yeah.
Definitely not the slippers.
Yeah.
He's in pretty good shape, right, Kanye?
Kanye, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's
He had a
probably-
period. He had a period where he wasn't, but I think that was like.
He's
He's like one of those guys I call slim thick. Like
Yeah.
he's
yeah.
like he looks. He's like one of those guys that's just like compact thick. Like everything is in the right place.
And I could be wrong here, but every time I see him, I imagine him like not being tall. I look at him as like 5'4".
I don't think he's.
probably
I don't
not
think
that
he's
short.
Tom Cruise short, but I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
think
gonna
he's
look it
like
up.
super
yeah,
tall.
I don't think he's tall. Watch him be like super tall. I don't think he's
Be
tall
crazy.
either.
Kanye's 6'7".
I mean,
that'd
he's
be wild.
5'8". That's not short. That's very
Yeah.
average height.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You know, wow, man, it's tough. You think Donkey could take a punch from Kanye?
Yeah. I mean, Donkey at one point gets married to a dragon.
You know, dude, I was actually about to say that. That's actually a good point because if things are getting physical,
Yeah.
then
Promiscuous.
it can definitely handle
Well, he
his fair
has
share.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
baby dragon donkeys.
Right, so we know it's going down.
Yeah.
We know Donkey fucks.
Yeah.
This is why I like having this show because we get to say sentences like that.
Yeah. So I think that, and the weird thing to me is I can't even picture Kanye like punching somebody.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, I can picture it. I feel like he would try to punch him and miss.
Yeah, like I don't know that he's physically inclined enough. Here's the thing about Donkey. So this is kind of what I'm getting at is Donkey, they're both can be very moody. But when Donkey's up, he's up.
Yeah.
And I think that, like you said, kind of Donkey's defense mechanism is to play into the joke when Kanye starts to get frustrated at him, right? And that will boost him up, rise his energy, rather than bring him down. I think that that's the biggest thing to consider is Kanye, to me, seems like he can get down, not like necessarily like in a bad mood, but his moods can shift downwards towards where he goes into almost low energy mode. And I think that he'll struggle to match the energy that Donkey would bring to a fight. Because that dude, Donkey can move. He can run. He can jump around. He's got quick feet. He's not afraid to show them off. He can tap those little hooves. Quick hooves.
Doesn't he just like appear places? Like in the first movie when Shrek think he's gone or whatever, he like appears like.
Yeah, I'm sure he shows back up.
Yeah,
he's a resilient bastard for sure.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't get rid of Donkey.
No.
I feel
And that'll
like
be to his demise, Kanye's demise.
Yeah, because Kanye will get sick of him fast.
that's true, but that's why Kanye lashes out in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Is because he's sick of him.
Yeah.
I think Kanye would be able to connect with Donkey.
Donkey
The whole
probably
thing about
have
his
hard
wife-
heads, though.
Yeah, I guess so. But everybody's got a hard head.
Yeah,
They're called skulls. But
good call.
but with the thing with his wife being a dragon, like he does get like messed around with in those Shrek movies, like they fight people.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to say that that Donkey will be able to take more punches from Kanye than Kanye will be able to take kicks from Donkey. And I think maybe he could take at least 2. Because it's tough to get up from a donkey kick, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that Kanye, with his ego and everything being what it is, and him obviously, he's going to be very upset in this confrontation. You know, I think he would be able to take at least 2. The adrenaline would get him up for the
other
second
thing
one.
that I have to say about Donkey is often, this is how I look at it. I don't know if I'm by myself on this, but you usually see Donkey next to Shrek, so you assume that he's small, but you have to remember that Shrek is a real-life ogre. So Shrek is ginormous. So Donkey's not that small.
Yeah, he's donkey size.
He's a donkey. I know, but like when you see him on the screen, you're like, oh, he's a little like pony, but he's not a pony.
Standing
He's a
next to
donkey.
Shrek.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So he's gonna have some juice. I think that I'm not ready to rule Kanye out yet. He's slipping at this point in time in my mind. but he would have to see. Now I almost think that my whole thing was that Donkey would have the stamina regardless of how the fight goes. But now I almost think that Kanye is so to a fault prideful that he would refuse to let himself lose to Donkey to the point that like he would just perish. He would just be done. He would no longer
I could see him
exist.
like set up a trap or something to get him. Because that, I will say that's a downfall of Donkey. Like if the whole waffles thing, was it the last movie where they had like set up a waffle?
And
they trap him. And they're about to eat him.
I believe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, the ogres. The ogres trap him. And Shrek saves him.
Yeah.
So like he's strong, but like he's also kind of stupid in situations.
So I actually thought of that too, because Donkey is very gullible in that sense. You could easily make him fall into a trap. My thing is though that, and I'm not, obviously Kanye isn't dumb. He's a world-class businessman. Who put out some great music. He's not a dumb guy, but he's so focused on himself that I don't know that he would think to set a trap. I think in my mind, like, and this is probably not true because of who he is. He's probably very good at preparation and making sure he's prepared for situations.
He definitely gives me like almost like insanity, like methodical vibes.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I almost am contradicting myself now. But I think with like when it comes to him versus somebody else, he's more focused on himself rather than the other person, which would make him overlook the opportunity for a trap. But if we are going to go with the idea that he is a very, very detail-oriented person when it comes to preparation, then he probably does set a trap and wins Donkey. So I guess that wins against Donkey. So I guess that's the difference in this fight right now is, do you think Kanye is too focused on himself to... Do you think he's losing the fight himself rather than losing to Donkey? Or do you think that he's coming in prepared enough to beat Donkey? I ask that to both of you.
What I see happening is basically they see each other, whatever. Kanye obviously tries to... I can see Donkey being like, oh, man, I'm your number one fan or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Kanye trying to punch him, miss a couple times, whatever. Kanye keeps going or whatever. He keeps going. And then, like, Donkey kicks him, knocks him out. Donkey is, like, sleeping or something. And he, like, set a trap and, like, kill him. That's what I see happening. I feel like Kanye to a point, and I say this because, like, in his career, he's been so, like, methodical. One thing I wanted to bring up was, like, I don't know if you guys probably haven't seen it, but LeBron James has this barbershop series, and he had Drake on, and everybody knows the infamous Drake versus Pusha T thing, when Pusha T revealed in his raps that Drake had a son, but Drake didn't tell everyone yet. And the reason Pusha T found that out later on, on the barbershop episode, is because Kanye West set something up. Kanye allegedly took Drake's beats that Drake sent him to, like, listen to, and then also... didn't he like drop his stuff around the same time, and then also told Pusha T that he had a son? Like, that's grimy. Yeah. So after I heard that, I was like, he's capable of kind of doing anything, and I think he's very methodical with those things he does. So I feel like he probably at first his ego would be hurt, but he would definitely have.
He was married to a Kardashian, and they
I don't know how he did that.
They are crazy people. In my professional opinion. I've actually never watched the show. I just imagine them being very methodical themselves.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So I have one question to ask, and 72 episodes in, I feel like this is pre-established, but if that's the case, because I can see Donkey doing that. If Donkey knocks Kanye West out, I can see Donkey being like, "Oh, fight's over," and laying down to take a nap.
But the fight never ends for Kanye.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
So even though Kanye's knocked out, the fight isn't over, correct?
No, not if he keeps...
Yeah, so if he gets back up after being knocked out, so I think that kind of just solidified the doubt in my mind. I was 99% walked into this room ready to pick Donkey, before we even had it, and I'm now going to change my answer. Too. So I'm going to lock my argument in here. I'm going to lock my pick in with Kanye West. The reason being, I do think that I think that is almost exactly how it would play out. I think that he's methodical enough. I don't think he would necessarily know that going in, but I think that if he got knocked out, Donkey would do something of that stature, like take a break, like, oh, fight's over, and start eating or take a nap or something like that. And I think Kanye would wake up and Donkey wouldn't notice, and like for like a lack of better terms, Kanye would like sneak up behind him and like snap his neck or something crazy and be like, yeah you tried to kill me? I'm Kanye West. I'm a god.
I can see him doing that too.
Yeah, that's definitely a direct quote.
Yeah.
Schondra, do you have your answer? You know who you're locking in?
Kanye. I'm locking in Kanye.
Okay. I don't know what this means, but I think that it applies here. Somebody out there who's not a moron like myself will be able to tell if this is true. This is actually a battle between the ego and the id. And like I said, I don't know exactly what that means.
It sounds very like biblical.
It's like a philosophy thing. And it's all throughout. This, I think that this is actually a very deep who would win. Yeah. And we did not realize it until now, us talking it through. I'm going to pick Kanye as well.
Let's go. Clean sweep. I thought you would once again open that window, throw your integrity out, and take Donkey just to have some
controversy on the podcast. No, because the battle. No, I don't, Matthew. I picked Tommy Pickles one time, and that I will admit was a fault versus Maggie Simpson.
And it was the worst pick of all time.
Ooh, yeah. No.
Was that the day that I told you had to put a gun to your head? Because whatever day that was, too, you absolutely.
That was the day it all changed.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's Kanye all around. I think this is going to be an interesting one for when people vote on our Instagram poll. Because everybody loves Donkey.
Everybody loves Donkey. And there's people out there that don't necessarily love Kanye West, I feel like, too.
Oh, sure. He could be a divisive figure, but yeah. We'll see. We'll see what it says.
So we'll lock that in. Who would win of the week? We're all going with Kanye West. Vote on that on our Instagram story. It'll be up on Friday. Let us know what you think. Donkey lovers, take into consideration, again, that this is a game of integrity. So don't just follow your heart. And then Friday, 4 p.m., Andrew Canada on Clubhouse will be there debating who should win this fight.
Yep.
I feel like the Clubhouse community, I feel like this is my prediction. Instagram's going to go Donkey. Clubhouse going to go Kanye.
Maybe.
Because you can have open discussion.
That's the thing. When you talk it out, because from a physical standpoint, a donkey versus a man with those kicks, you think donkey. But us here talking it out from a psychological standpoint, again, ego and id. I don't know what it means, but I think we're onto something with that.
A regular old donkey, not an like animated donkey that speaks English, I could probably beat up a donkey. You could probably beat up a donkey.
I don't know why I would even want to.
No, neither would I, but you're saying
I don't know with my bare hands. I might need a knife or something. With my bare hands, I don't know if I'll be able to take down a donkey.
Yeah, that's true. What would you do? Like try to...
You just punch it.
Just keep punching it?
I think so.
But don't they like spin around and kick like if they get agitated or something?
I know. I think they're like horses. I know you're not supposed to walk up behind them. But if you stay in front of them... all right, well, not to get off the rails. But we've been going for about an hour and 15.
Oh, man.
I think it's time to wrap up. A few things before we do. One, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it.
You guys.
I enjoyed it. I know Andrew enjoyed it. So before we continue closing it up, tell everybody one last time about the blog, about Instagram, your socials, where everybody can find all this awesome content that you're putting out to support all these musicians.
Yes. Again, my name is Schondra. I run SneakVibing Blog, which is a music blog that covers hip-hop and R&B in Buffalo, as well as occasional national topics and national music. You can follow us at SneakVibing Blog. So SneakVibing Blog. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We're on Facebook as well. on all your social media platforms. We have a YouTube. There's a couple videos on there, but you can follow us again at Sneak SneakVibing blog. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm sure that
you got my vote.
That will be tagged on our Instagram as well.
Yeah.
So you will be able to find it there.
I'll put like a link in the description to this episode and stuff. So just hit that, people. I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's awesome. And it's, to say it one last time, it's something, there's so much going on here that I never knew until we started doing this show. And because of it, we've been able to meet so many cool people who support it and support us and just everything that goes on in this city. And yeah, it's not going to be a secret for much longer, right, Andy? Yep.
It's exciting. This even right now, this is crossing of so many different experiences and stuff, and that's what I want. I want just everybody to cross and just be a huge melting pot of amazing artists. So, yeah, I'm excited.
God damn it. You're the fucking best, Schondra. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. It's so awesome. All right, Matthew, you good?
Andy, I love you.
I love you too. Let's get out of here. Thanks for listening, folks. Thanks, Schondra.
Peace.